so short. Hey, Kayla. Hey, gorgeous. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you, Maxie?
I'm good. Awesome, awesome. I was trying to figure out, my husband, he goes, so what are you going to wear for the live tonight? I said, I don't know. I said, this is a businesswoman, babe. I said, but it's Saturday night, so it's kind of like the
Oh, right,
girls. I
your,
don't
your
know.
show shirt.
Working on it. I'm working on it. Because if I could just wear my name, that'll cross all the I's and dot all the T's.
We'll talk
Awesome.
after.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, we're going to work on it. Yes. So let me just go ahead and introduce you. This is Chundria. Chundria. I said it right. Yes, that's my mouth. Okay. So this is Chundria. She is a TV host out in Los Angeles. Her TV show is actually in over 105 cities, guys. This woman has hustled, and as a young Black woman in business who is looking and aspire to have a huge network, a huge television station, these are our daily idols. You know what I'm saying? You see one and you think, oh man, it's only room for one. It's like, no, there's so many people who are doing it. So I would just like to say thank you, first of all, because that's definitely paving the way. You're 105, you're 250, that's going to come up. That's just going to make the way for my one. So I'm so excited to have you here.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we're going to hop into it. But first, is there anything that you'd like to say? Um, Getting started?
I just want to say thanks to everyone that is watching and everyone that watches the replay. I did post it on my Facebook page about an hour ago. So shout out to any of my friends, Facebook friends, family, people who tune in today and check it out. And for all of your friends and family and supporters who watch this live today, just want to say thanks for taking time out to check out my girl Maxcie Taylor doing her thing, and also to check on me.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So tell us, how did you even get into media? Was it something that came natural or?
My father works in media, worked in news rather. He was a camera operator for a news station for a long time, and so I grew up with a dad who worked at a news station. So those are probably my early influences. But I mean, we always had like a video camera in the house or a still camera, and I could remember early on like kind of gravitating to those things. So it wasn't like my dad was like, I'm in media, you're going to be in media too. It was never like that kind of discussion. But I do know like I naturally gravitated to the arts at a young age. But I know, I give my dad credit because, just watching him get up and go to work and, to be a camera operator for the news, to retire from the news, was probably my early starts. But yeah, I was always the one with the camera. I was always the one like telling everybody to take pictures. Always the one with the little handy cam, like say something, do something, like so it's just, you don't really know. And I think that's why it's so important for us to cultivate the arts, or creativity in children, especially when you start to see like, okay, I see you have an eye for photography or for videoing or for performance and things like that. And so, I mean, I shout out my parents because I remember having like keyboards and I would like make little songs that you just don't know. It's a creative outlet, but I really never really processed the fact. But I would probably say my defining moment was I was 12 and I was with my dad. He was on vacation and we go down to the station. And one day after school, and I remember for the first time seeing the news, the newscast. And I remember the guy like standing behind a green screen, and that was a defining moment for me to see, like, you watch it on TV and the guy's in front of a map, and he's like, yeah, the radar, and if you look in the clouds, but this man is not in front of the map. He just has a clicker and a green screen. And I remember I was like, I remember being like, how's he doing that? And of course, we're in the studio, you couldn't really talk, but I remember that was like probably the moment that I was curious enough. And so I went to college. Fast forward to go from being like 11, 12 years old, fast forward right after high school, I enrolled in a junior institute program at Columbia College where I graduated, and they had like a high school program where you could learn TV production, media production. So those are my like early early influences. And then I just, you know, dove right in. I started taking production classes. My degree is in TV production directing. So I mastered, you know, working behind the scenes, but working in front of it was never the plan. That came later.
Because that's what I was going to ask you, because you said a lot of stuff. It was like, I was so excited to see behind the screens, to see the green screens. How did that work? So I'm like, I hear the producer coming out of her a lot, you know, and most people don't know that you actually are a producer as well as a TV host. So you know the mechanics in front and behind the camera. So you're saying that, you know, you didn't have a plan to get in front of the camera. So how did that happen?
I graduated from college and I didn't have as many job offers because I thought, like, I mean, you know, I wouldn't trade my college degree for the world. I loved my college experience. I wouldn't take anything away from the skill sets that I learned. But I mean, it's not as glamorous, you know, because you're humping to, you know, it's like college is goal oriented. So if your goal is to finish college, and you're thinking, as society makes you think like you're going to get this job. So I graduated and I ended up taking a job, and then I could say within a year and a half, 2 years, I didn't have a job. We'll say that, you know, I didn't have a job that I wanted in the field that I wanted. And so I was starting over. I was back like with now 2 rounds of college grads. You know, I'm competing with jobs. So I'm applying at news stations. I'm applying for all these places. And I decided to launch my own entertainment show in Chicago, which I'm originally from Chicago. But I decided to launch my own entertainment show. Like, you know what? Just so that I would have experience. It was never like I wanted to be this host. I just wanted, I think it's funny because you don't really know what you're, like, I couldn't really put it into words at the time. But I felt like I was a visionary at that point because I felt like I'm going to create what I'm seeking. If I'm seeking jobs and I'm not getting a job, if I'm seeking an opportunity to build experience and I'm not getting that, then my train of thought was I'm going to create that vehicle to get that experience. So I launched a show back then called Flair TV, and I was going to be this entertainment show where I would just interview like local talent and local artists. And I had this whole thing planned. I thought about it in the kitchen. Like, then I could put on there that I was the producer. Like, I was just thinking about the resume, you know, and not about the cultivating the skill set, but more about the resume. And I ended up meeting my former business partner, and, you know, shortly after, and she's like, can I help you with this? And I'm like, we could partner. You see what I'm saying? Like, I was open to like, this isn't just about me. And so, I mean, 4 amazing years later, we had interviewed so many amazing celebrities and talent that came through Chicago, and just that little idea in my kitchen turned into something like bigger than myself, bigger than the both of us. So yeah, so that's how I got in front of the scenes. Is we used to do a lot of red carpet hosting back then when we launched Flair. We used to do a lot of red carpet hosting, and then, you know, we went our separate ways. We had different visions. I mean, you know, she ended up kind of going a radio route. You know, I wanted to go a talk show route, and so we just went our separate ways. And I was like, I want a talk show. It was why? Like, that's just what I wanted. And I wanted a talk show because I wanted to be able to control my interviews. You know, you go on these red carpets, it's crowded, you're getting bumped around, there's priority, you may not even get an interview, there's mounds of people, you know, the top media outlets get precedence. If you even get an interview, then they're like, wrap it up, one question. Like, I got new hair, new nails, I paid for parking, I've been here 4 hours waiting, and you're going to tell me I'm going to get one interview question? So it's like, I really feel like I developed my own show at the time was so that I could set the tone. I could set the standards. I could say, hey, you're coming on my time. You're coming on my set. I'm going to control if we're going to talk for 15 or 20 minutes and not be bumped and pushed around. So, I mean, I would say that those were the early beginnings of why I wanted a show, because I wanted to set the time.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Especially for a fellow mass commie. I always was like, I want a production company. I want a production company. And everybody said, that's too big. And I'm like, it's not too big. I mean, Oprah has one. They're like, well, that's Oprah. I'm like, well, and I'm Maxcie. You know what I'm saying? So I just couldn't grasp that. So to see other women doing the same thing that I want to do, it really just enforces that belief that, hey, you have to work for it, but you can go as high and as far as you want to in media. It's not just for whoever. It's specifically for you. If you want it, you can have it, you know? So that is awesome. Now tell me, you said in the first 4 years, you all interviewed a numerous amount of celebrities, right? So what did that hustle look like in those first beginning years as you're starting to develop your media company?
You know what? The hustle in the beginning of anything is always about connections. It's always about starting with the people that you know. I mean, you know, prior to, you know, meeting my former business partner, I started interviewing people that I knew, you know. And then when she and I got involved, you know, and started, you know, working together, rather, when she and I started working together, we would go to networking events. We would meet people. But it always started with the connection that we already had. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you start with who you know, and you branch out from there. You know, you meet one friend, and, you know, and I feel like also too, in the industry, I mean, I know the industry has its, you know, whatever, but I feel like when people see your hustle, your drive, people want to help you. That was my experience, was that people will look out for you. I see, just like you keep doing these interviews, and then next time you say, hey, can you recommend somebody for my live? I've been doing this IG series. You know what I'm saying? People are always watching, whether it's 3 people on the live or whether it's 3,000. People always watch your hustle. They always know kind of what's going on. So it's like, yeah, I'll help you, because I know that you've been doing this for some time. But if you just wake up on a Wednesday like, hey, can you help me? You see how it feels? It feels like you don't even have a live. You haven't even done any interviews, and you want me to help you do something? If you put the work out there, you know, I feel like people are willing to help. So it's like, I would say that she and I we worked really well together as business partners. So I feel like because we came with the work ethic, I feel like when you have a great work ethic, people will help you. And so that's how it worked for us. People helped us. People looked out for us. I remember one of the first celebrity interviews we had was for Nelly. Nelly came in town to do a charity softball or baseball game in Chicago, and a radio personality in Chicago actually reached out to us. But had we not had a body of, I mean, no shade to anyone that we ever interviewed, but we had never interviewed a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? But we had consistently been doing interviews, consistently doing interviews. So if somebody in that radio personality, when in her round, says, hey, we need local media to cover Nelly coming in town, I mean, that's the power of your name being mentioned in rooms you're not even in. Somebody said, hey, I know these 2 girls that are hosting this show that could come out. We don't even know. To this day, I don't even know who told her about us, nor did I care. We were like, what? You want us to come in and interview Nelly and Murphy Lee? They were all like, I'm 38, so, you know, I was hyped, like, Nelly, you know? Yes. So I was super hyped to go interview Nelly outside at a charity baseball game with the kids. And then that station was like super grateful to us. Like, thank you so much for coming out and doing the interviews. And we put the package together, and it just grew. But I feel like that was like the defining thing, was just, you just start where you start where you are. You start with one. I always say this, start with one interview at a time. If you're doing a podcast, one podcast at a time. Your YouTube, one YouTube video at a time, just one thing at a time, and consistency, people will help.
Wow. And I definitely believe that. What's funny is this is an exact example of that happening. See? You know, some people are really afraid to network. See? And I've told people several times, I'm like, man, closed mouths do not get fed. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on all these social media outlets. And it's great to post a cute picture, you know what I'm saying? But hustle, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're making these business connections. When have you ever been able to meet someone from Los Angeles and in less than 2 weeks later, y'all are already getting it going? You know what I'm saying? That is the power of a network. How did this happen?
How did this live happen today? How?
I slide in the DMs. I do not play, okay? I slide in the DMs. I hop on live. I slide in the DMs. Huh?
And what did you ask me?
Who knows? Hi, I'm Marketing Record. Would you like to collaborate? Just very simple. Is that what I said? That's what I said, basically.
I watched one of your lives, and you asked me for feedback. You asked me for feedback on your lives, and you asked me if I had any ideas for topics. You stepped out there. But I've seen your live. So yeah, I got some ideas on what you could do. You know, here's an idea. You see what I'm saying? But if I had never seen your live before, or I didn't
It'd
know
be
your
like, what are
body of
you doing?
work, I mean, I don't. For anybody that's watching, I did not know Maxcie a week and a half ago.
Nope.
You know? I did
Nope.
not know
Nope.
Maxcie, but
Nope.
Maxcie and I are following each other on Instagram, and we are Instagram family, and that is enough for me. She's a young woman, a young beautiful Black woman out here working her media goals and dreams. So I will look out, but she sent me a message, and I wrote her back like, well. These are somebody I was not trying to be on Maxcie's live. I was not trying to get anything from Maxcie. I just offered her genuine advice, and that just goes back to my point that if you put the work out there, you're consistent. I feel like people will help. People will, and if you're around people that aren't helping, then maybe you're just around the wrong people. You know, and that's not
Yeah,
that's
maybe
not a
you're around the wrong
thing.
people.
That's just like let me think about who I am around. If people aren't willing to help, and if what are you pouring out, and what are people pouring back into you?
Exactly. Because I'm always used to, like, I talked to a business owner today and we had a consult, and she said, well, Maxcie, I'm shy and I'm just not a people person. How can I get out there? I said, it's very hard to be a business person and not be a people person. You have to pick one or the other, you know? And so, like I said, you have to be consistent, or like you said, you have to be consistent, and you have to be able to open your mouth and go out there. You know, it's two sides. You definitely want to be consistent, and you definitely want to know how to network. I think those are two very valuable things that you need as the foundation. So when people are networking, you said one thing that you did was you went and found a lot of local talent. So let's say someone is starting a business and they're kind of maybe afraid to reach out to local people because they may be friends and friends don't know them as a business girl or a business guy. How do you help them get over that fear?
I mean, you know, I don't put a lot of pressure on people because, I mean, you know, there's all different personality types and we are who we are. And I don't feel like you should have to change or become like super extroverted to be successful in business, because I know a lot of introverted people who are successful in their own way. But if you are, you know, someone who is maybe nervous to jump out there, I would say start with who you know and who you do feel comfortable with. I mean, there's different types of business and brands. I mean, I feel like I have a very successful brand in its own right. You know, I don't have specifically a business, you know, like, oh, I'm selling body scrubs, you know. You go to my website and buy all of my body scrubs. You know, I feel like I've done a great job of creating a great brand. And so for somebody who's an entrepreneur, even building a brand, and I would say start with who you know, who you are comfortable with. If you are a bit more shy, a bit more reserved, you know, you may not feel like you want to be, like, you might feel like you might not even be shy, but you may feel like you're bothering people. It could be so much. It's so much we tell ourselves, you know, when it comes to fear or whatever fear is packaged in. Because sometimes you be like, I'm not scared, but something is holding you back. It could be doubt. You know, I used to suffer from feeling like, you know, maybe I wasn't prepared enough. I could think about times like before I got on like a great stretch that I felt like I need to have this. I need to have my website together. Like tell yourself that you need to do before like you can like really go. And sometimes you can miss opportunities that way, thinking like, okay, as soon as I do this, then I can go, you know? So for the person out there that may feel shy or maybe not as quick to move, I look at it two ways. One would be just get accountability partners. You know, get somebody that can push you. Get somebody that's a tribe of yours. I'm big on tribes. Like, it don't even have to be a big tribe. It could be your husband, your wife, your best friend. Join a Facebook group. Even if you don't have anybody in your circle that may be into entrepreneurship, you know, get into a Facebook group. It's like 10,000 trillion million Facebook groups for women and entrepreneurs, for business people, especially with quarantine. If you look up quarantine, business quarantine type groups have popped up all over Facebook. Like, get you someone or some people that can be accountable with you. Not like they gotta babysit you, but like it helps to have somebody push you or be like, hey, whatever happened with that? Even if you gotta be like, hey, next Saturday, ask me if I got this done. Even that, you know? And then I know you're going to ask me next Saturday. So it kind of lights a fire under me. So yeah, and I also feel like too, on the flip side of that, if maybe being introverted, it shouldn't be looked at as like a flaw in business. I mean, because I feel like there are many great business owners that hire people to do what they're not, you know, maybe superior in doing. If maybe, you know, maybe social media is not your strength, then you could just hire somebody to handle your social media, or if marketing, or, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's more than one way to do everything in 2020, you know, whereas I'm
exactly.
an old person. But, you know, when I was like trying to figure this stuff out, there wasn't an Instagram yet, you know, so it's like there were some technologies that hadn't, you know, so that's what I would say. I would say just get a try, get someone that you could lean on to. It could be it doesn't even have to be someone you know. It could be a stranger.
Yes, it definitely can. It definitely can. Like for me, I have business accountability partners on IG because I don't see anybody near my sphere of, okay, this is either where I'm at or where I want to be. So don't hesitate to reach out to those people, because some people may come off and say, well, I don't check my DMs and stuff like that. But there are people like Chundria who are willing to give back because they don't believe in competition. They don't believe in rift between women. So it's nothing when you're in your own lane and you're confident in yourself to support someone else.
Absolutely.
And offer them the same tips that you learned, you know? So that's amazing. And then I like how you said, just go with what you have and be consistent with at least what you have. You'll definitely have more as time goes on. But if you can be consistent with what you have, you'll be surprised at what you get blessed with. You know, once I got started about 2 months ago when quarantine happened, I was so nervous because my business was not online. It was not online at all. There was no website. There were no videos. I just did speaking engagements in public. So I never recorded them. So that was good, you know, in my own little bubble. But when quarantine came, it's like, oh my goodness. So speaking engagements, events, everything is either virtual or not happening right now. So you want to be what's happening and moving. So you have to get virtual with it. So I just set up my Instagram page and I started reaching out to people. Hey, can I interview you? I love what you're doing. Hey, can I collaborate with you? You know, let me promote your products. And that's just how I got started. And now it's building and I'm meeting phenomenal people who are, this is blowing my mind that I'm talking to a TV host in LA. You know, it's a big deal, especially being a mass comm major. But it's just taking what you have right now and just believing in yourself that, you know, I have everything. I have the experience. I have the education. I'm well equipped. And then going for it and fumbling and just, John Maxwell says, just keep falling forward, you know, and I think that's really what it is as an entrepreneur. You know, there is no perfect gateway. There is no map. There is no outline. It's just stumbling forward one step at a time, not being perfect, you know?
Absolutely. I 1,000% agree with you wholeheartedly. Stumble forward, but keep moving in that direction. Not be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right, you know?
Exactly. So Chundria, you've interviewed tons of celebrities. You had, who was it, Kim on your show last week?
I loved my interview with Kim because I'm from the Midwest, so you know, the Midwest people love. Not to say he doesn't have fans all over the world, but I just feel like the Midwest definitely shows Kim some love. Yeah, he has a new single out, and it was a pleasure for his record label to contact me to ask me, you know, to be a part of his press tour. So, you know, especially with quarantine and all that happening. So yeah, I was super stoked about that. Like Kim's record label was contacting me. So I understand how it feels. It, you know, still very, very humbled by it.
Awesome. So who is your favorite celebrity that you've ever interviewed? Kim was awesome. You got Nelly.
And oh man, that's a good one. Favorite celebrity that I interviewed, I would say some of the memorable ones probably would be like maybe like when I interviewed Tia Mowry, because you know we're the same age, so like I grew up with Tia Mowry, sister, and stuff like that. You know, that was a pretty surreal experience. Queen Latifah was a pretty surreal experience, interviewing her in Chicago. So you think about like people you grew up watching on show, you know, you watch Living Single, you know, as a kid or teen or what have you, and then now you're like at a My Black is Beautiful event and you're backstage somewhere interviewing Queen Latifah. So I would probably say like you know, kind of meeting your heroes is always, it's always pretty special.
Yeah, I would be on the floor. I know that I would be on the floor if I met Queen Latifah. That
Especially
is awesome.
Robin Thicke. I interviewed Robin Thicke twice, and the second time I remember being like, "Do you remember?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." You know, I mean, there are people,
Oh,
you know, but I mean, they're people just like us. You know, they're quarantining just like us. You know, but
mm-hmm.
those are pretty surreal moments for people like you are real true fans of. I think those are the ones that probably hit me a little bit more. People like I'm a true fan of yours, and you're just. I remember like telling him like I'm like dropping songs. He's like, she knows all my songs. I'm like, I'm trying to tell you I am a fan. Like she knows all my songs. Like, yes I
Yes, yes. I remember when she said she was going live. I was like, love calls, please. Go ahead and just have him do that for me, please. I'll be good to go.
Right.
So as you were expanding, like how did you get in 105 different cities? What did that spot in your business look like as you were expanding to different cities?
You know, the goal was always 50. The 50 was my big picture goal, honestly. And I mean, I can remember I remember having a show, you know, I had my show on YouTube, and, you know, I would post my interviews on social just in recent years. And, you know, I wanted to be on television. Like that's been a big picture goal of mine for a long time. And I always had this plan, this goal for such a long time was to be like in cities all over the world, internationally syndicated. Like that's still a big picture goal of mine today, to be internationally syndicated. But I mean, I just feel like you just got to go for it, you know? And I feel like I have a really special zest in my 30s that I didn't have in my 20s. I spent a lot of time in my 20s kind of doubting, kind of procrastinating, you know, not really like, you know, pulling full steam ahead. But something about my 30s for me, I just, you know, like I set a goal, and I nail it, you know, whereas probably if this were like 10 years ago, I don't know what I would be doing, you know, but I can say present day. So yeah, 50 cities for me came because I had a goal. I remember trying to find like angel. I remember having this, you know, I have to see the whole timeline in my mind, then I can create the steps. And like I'm the type of person, like I'll write the goals out and then the steps to get those goals. Like I think like that. So it's like when it came to, I want my show to be on television, my first thought was like, maybe if I get with the networks, you know, maybe if I get an agent. Like I had all these like, because I'm really brainstorming, how do I reach this goal? Because I have no idea. But it just, sometimes you just got to simplify, you know? And so I just start calling stations, you know? I just call stations. Like, I just call them. I just called hundreds of stations. And, you know, I mean, but I think, you could call 1,000 stations, but it's also a testament to the work that you put into it. Because I could call 100 stations, but if I don't have any content, if I don't have any episodes ready, I don't have a body of work, I haven't produced anything, I'm just calling you to say, hey, I'm a producer of a talk show, and I would really like to air it once it airs. I mean, once I finish filming it, I just wanted you to see if you would. You see what I'm saying? Like, it goes back to this, like, a TV station is so different than networking, or no different than collaborating with somebody. People want to collaborate with people that are like-minded. Like, I see what you're doing. Hey, I could have gotten an opportunity because I was ready, you know, not necessarily. So yeah, that is a testament to how I got the stations. Is I was ready for the stations. I had the episodes already put together and edited. I was just literally calling stations to see who would air it. And now I am airing in 105 cities locally. So that's a testament of just believe in myself, believing that I'm gonna get this goal. Like, I believed it like wholeheartedly. There was no like, I hope I get it. No, I'm getting 50 cities. I had my heart set on 50. So to have your heart set on 50, and I just celebrated 100 cities back in December. I had my birthday's in December, so I hosted a 100 cities mixer in December here in LA, and like that was a dope experience. And I almost didn't have that, and then my husband was like, "You gotta end this year celebrating it," because I was like, no, if I want to do all of that, you know, like maybe I'll just keep it light. I mean, but he was like, you gotta celebrate the 100 cities. So shout out to my husband, Word with Time Law, for pushing me to throw that 100 cities mixer, because it was a great milestone. I never stopped to really I would just count, like I would post it, but I never really stopped to really celebrate. Like that's a major feat for me, for an independent producer and talk show host, to broadcast a talk show. And I do it all. I host it, I produce it, I write it. You know, I mean, now that I'm quarantining, I'm filming interviews at home. But prior to that, you know, I film in the studio and then, you know, edit it, distribute it. Like that's a lot of work. And I just got to shout out that college, Chicago education, because that's where I was equipped to learn everything from in front of the scenes to behind it.
Yes. And what's interesting is, so I did mass comm, but I did 3 years. And then my husband, who was in the military, was supposed to be going to Germany or something. So I was like, okay, we just got to, you know, pack up. And at that time, I was kind of shooing off education anyway, because I was like, well, I'm a public speaker, you know, you can't really teach a lot about that technique, a little bit, but, you know, and like you said, that education, that in front and behind the camera difference, it definitely makes that change. So in the fall, I'm going back to school, but that was definitely something I was like, okay, there's confirmation. I need to go ahead and finish my degree. I only have about a year or so left. So
do it.
That's
Get it done. The degree is for you. That's for you to feel, you know, we have to take that power that we get, you know, when we finish things and complete things. So just take that power.
Exactly. I definitely plan on it. And I have a 2-year-old son and a 2-month-old son. So for them to see me graduate as well as be mommy and business owner, it just would really, really fill my heart to know that they can see me do whatever avenue. You can do whatever, but you just got to do something. Like you said, you got to do something, baby. You can't stay still like a deer in headlights. You got to make a plan and work it backwards, or, you know, start filming where you're at, start asking friends, can you do their hair? I know my girl Taylor's on here, so she does hair. Whatever it is that you do in your capacity, just start where you're at and do it. You know, that's all it takes, is that one step of leap of faith to get the ball rolling. And kudos to you for celebrating your 100 cities. Most people don't. When you're a business owner, it seems like, okay, check mark, you know, I got that next milestone, so what's next? And we never take time to just say, look at what I did. So shout out to your hubby, because that is a good one. You know, I'm glad you got to really capture that moment for you. So your goal was 50 cities. You're in 105 cities. But what was it like when you got that first city?
I feel like the first city is like taking a road trip, and you start to see like the signs that you're going the right way, you know, like like if you're taking a long destination and you get that first road sign, it's like say you're going to Houston, Texas, you still have a long way, but you see that sign. You know, sometimes when you're on the road, it'll be like Houston, Texas, 382 miles. You know, and it's far. Like, why are you even telling me that if I'm gonna go 382 miles? But it's that reminder that you're going the right way. You see what I'm saying? So that first city felt like that first sign, like you're going the right way. You committed your stuff to this station. You got airtime. You know, it's going. You're moving in the right way. So yeah, it felt great, especially when you have a goal that you've been on for a long time, or perhaps a goal that you didn't know how you would get it. So you spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time like lamenting over that. Like, you know, I mean, I left home. I left my family. I don't have any family in LA. All my family's back home in Chicago. So to uproot yourself, you leave home, you're out here by yourself. I mean, I developed friends here, obviously, but like I didn't have like a tribe here, you know. My family's like, you know, you can come home at any time. Like you do not have to like stay out there and suffer and and struggle, like, you know. But I love the feeling like, no, I have a goal. I came out here with a goal. And I mean, in LA was where I said that I would do it, and LA is where I accomplished it. So it's like, I can move now.
Right.
So yeah, it felt great. It felt like, but you're right. I mean, as entrepreneurs, as brain managers, etc., you don't spend enough time celebrating, the milestones. It is like a check mark. Like, okay, as soon as I get this, and I am guilty to a fault of that. Like, my husband and I celebrated things today, and we just did a cheers with some wine. Like. He just launched a youth initiative today. So it's like we just celebrated that. So I feel like now that I'm married, we work together in media. I feel like I probably spend more time now celebrating the little moments than I ever did, just being by myself. It was always like the rat race, like, okay, and I got to do this and I got to do that. And, and I just feel like when you do stop to celebrate, I feel like it's almost like self-care. Like, let me just, like, today we finished, his event, and then we just kind of chilled. Like, it was like a moment to just reflect and chill. Like, man, today was great. Let's drink some wine, as opposed to being like, okay, that was good. Okay, let's start again. Let's start looking through the content. Let's start looking through footage. Like, I conducted 6 interviews today. I haven't gone to look at those interviews, but I could remember a time that I probably would have been like trying to edit, let me start editing these. Like, can you celebrate 6 interviews today? Like, so.
Right. Like, my husband, he'll come and just graciously just like put his hand on the laptop, like, babe, it'll be here tomorrow. Come on, let's go to bed. Because sometimes I can just get so consumed, So they're definitely our secret weapon to keep us sane and kind of in the middle of everything. Yes. He's up here listening too as well. So that's super funny. Are y'all newlyweds? Y'all sound like y'all have been married for...
Next Wednesday, we celebrate 2 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, we are newlyweds. We hold on to the newlywed title. I heard they take it away after 2 years, so we taking it.
Nice. So what is it working with someone who's in media?
Let me tell an interesting story about my husband, Ty. Is Ty lived in Chicago, where I'm from too. We've been friends for a long time. We met at a play we both were a part of back in Chicago 8 years ago. And we got married, and he was still living in Chicago. I was here. He, was willing to move here to LA, and so he did. So he's been living here. He moved here right after the wedding. And so following the wedding, I was like, I put him to work. I'm not even going front. Like, I put him to work. I got to get this show going. So he would, oh God, excuse me. He would film for me. He's like he helped me so much. He would film and help me with the show and all that. Fast forward, that went on for some months, and then he was, you go to these events in LA, everybody's always like, what do you do? What do you do? And he works in education. And so people were always asking him that. But I would say once we hit maybe about a year in, we were at this event. And it was at this soul food restaurant, and he's like looking around like, I like this place. They had these old school booths in there, and he was like, you should film your show in here. And I was all like, I'm not filming let me get my face right. I was like, I'm not filming my show. We film my show in here in this soul food restaurant. No shades of soul food restaurants, but I just like my show you a show couch, So I was like, oh, my show in here. And he was like, I would film in here. And I was like, you should. You should film in here then. He was like, quiet. He was like, I will, And something went off in him that day. And that's why it's so important to have accountability partners or have people to pour back into you. As I say, even if it's not, somebody you're close to, it could be a stranger, it could be somebody that kind of reinforce and inspire something in you, because, he inspires me too. But in that day, what if I didn't say anything? What if I was just like, oh yeah, I should film in here, Let me go talk to the owner. You see what I'm saying? We could have missed a moment because I didn't pour back into him. I don't want to film in here. Or let me go talk to Earl. Hey, Earl, how much would it be for me to film in here, So, present day, let's talk about April 6, 2020. He celebrated 1 year of hosting his own TV talk show called Word with Ty Brownlow. He has conducted about 25 interviews to date. And today he celebrated a brand new initiative working with the youth. So, I mean, it's about goals. It's just about just stepping out and do. So, yeah, we're going to let him have his own word to Ty Brownlow. Follow my husband, Ty
Brownlow. Yes. That is awesome. That is awesome. And I love what you said. What if I wasn't pouring in to him? You know what I'm saying? He would have completely missed that. And I love that. When you are really like in the zone, I've noticed when you get people who are aligned with your vision and what you want, it is really like iron sharpening iron. You know, my husband said something today. I was like, oh, baby, can I use that? Let me write that down. And he was like, can you use that? Of course you can use it. And I'm like, I'm just saying, because it's like, I'll say one thing and then he'll dream it up even bigger. And then I'll come back, I'll be like, baby, but what if we do that? And then take it somewhere else. It doesn't even have to be a spouse. Get you people who are aligned with your vision and your goals. You know, if your goal is generational wealth, find people whose goals are the same thing. You know, if you want to be in media, find women who are in media, you know. And just having those people around you will just make you so sharp just by listening to their story and their experience. So that's absolutely phenomenal. So kudos to him. Are you helping him with his youth initiative? Ugh.
You know, I helped him. Like I designed like his logo, things like that. So yeah, I'm helping a little bit.
Nice. And that'll be for the kids in LA or Chicago.
It's he's on like a global, worldwide initiative where he's, you know, really working to evolve youth and young adults all over the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. She said we're not starting in one location. We just already from coast to coast, and we'll
global.
Keep going from there. I love that. I absolutely love that. That is awesome. So, Chundria, if you had advice for someone who's coming up in media, and let's say they were like me and didn't have all of the resources and everything that they needed, what advice would you give to them?
If you were interested in media, start with social media. That would probably be my first bit of advice. I'm 1,000% sure most people have a cell phone. Start with a cell phone. Start with a laptop, an iPad, whatever you have in your house. And if you don't have any of those things, then borrow one. Set up an Instagram account, start an IG Live series like you did. Grab a YouTube channel. I mean, starting where you are, using what you have, utilizing the people in your network. When I first moved to LA, I didn't know anyone at all. When I knew that I was moving here, I made a post on social media and I put, keep calm, I'm moving to Los Angeles. If you have any contacts, no matter what they do, who they are, please let me know. And I had an outpouring. It seems like everybody knows somebody that lives in LA. So I had an outpouring of people who reached out to me. I had inbox messages. I had people texting me, people's phone numbers and comments and tags. And some of those people I met for lunch and coffee and drinks and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when I first got here, it was really, those first couple months are really great because people invited me to stuff. Like my first week, Capricia was like, hey, this a crew of us from Chicago. We're all going to meet up for some Chicago deep dish pizza. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like in the same vein of that, start where you are. Start with a post like, hey, I'm launching a new show, or I'm launching a new podcast or a new brand or a new series or whatever your heart desires, and just do a call out. I just feel like, I mean, if you want to protect the name and all that, you don't have to put that in there, but I don't know. I just, if you're truly, investing in creating, I just feel like you'll make it work. You won't overthink it. Mm-hmm. Don't think about it having to be perfect and pretty. I remember like just lamenting so much over, during this last track of consistency, because I've really been on this consistent track of doing my show now for 3 straight years. It's the longest I've ever like not missed a beat. And so before I got back on track, I was worried myself. Like, I was looking up theaters in Los Angeles so that I could have an audience. Girl, get your whole life together to trying to have an audience full of people and just focus on the interview. You see what I'm saying? But those are things that I was worried about. Like, I don't know, it's too much sometimes. Sometimes my mom has always said, go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. Start from scratch. Go back to the beginning. Simplify. Don't overthink it. So yeah, if anybody out there is interested in media, do exactly what my homegirl Maxcie Taylor did. You know, reach out to somebody, you know, whoever it is. Brainstorm. I'm all about brainstorming together. Like you just said, you and your husband have brainstorm sessions. Brainstorm with somebody, ask for advice. I mean, people are always willing to help. And if you find that they aren't, then find some new people.
Exactly. And one thing that you said is just go back to the basics. I'm one of these people, details are everything to me, but I have too much going on to be worried about small details. And it's like a battle in between. And it's like, you know, my husband's like, you're really worried about what colors your Instagram page is going to be. You know what I'm saying? You're booked out until July. Start focus on all, like, colors.
But you need somebody. Like, if that's what you struggle with the details, you need your husband.
You need somebody. Yes.
To be like, okay, pull back. Don't focus on that, because you'll get lost in that, and then sometimes it delays a project. You know, sometimes a project loses its steam. You see what I'm saying? Or sometimes you could become overwhelmed because you're so focused on, you know, different areas. You know, focus on the meat and potatoes, the dessert, the soup, the salad, all that stuff. You can worry about later. Right. Just get to the meat of it.
So Chundria, when you are doing something and you said you run out of steam, are you one of those people do it now or plan and then work the plan?
I plan just about everything nowadays. I would say, I mean, I understand both sides because I've been on all sides of the coin. I've been a procrastinating queen, and I have been, you know, hard in the paint, just nonstop, no sleep, team go to work, come home, work on it, team get up, team work on it at work. You know, I've been all of that. And I just feel like a healthy balance can't hurt anybody, you know. So I just feel like at this point, I schedule just about everything. I schedule, even if I'm like, I'm not editing anything today. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's perfectly okay. I just think if there's power in scheduling everything, even from your chill time to your work to, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to work on editing. So I schedule time to do research something. You know what, Sunday at 2:00, I'm going to research this. And I'll put a note on my phone. I'm big on to-do lists, action lists. I make action list notes in my phone. Usually every Sunday night, I have an action list for the week. Like, okay, what videos do I need to edit? What content do I need to get out? Who do I need to call? What do I want to research? You know, things like that. So I would say action list for sure. And just even your self-care, you know, take a bath, you know, go to bed early. Put that up, you know, I want to bed. Or if you're not feeling up to, you may have had a whole laundry list of stuff like, man, today I'm about to get it in. I'm about to do X, Y, Z. But sometimes you could wake up with a migraine. You're not about to be creative with a migraine, you know? You're about to go lay down with a migraine. So I just think it's okay to just let yourself just operate how it's supposed to be. And then, you know what, I didn't edit today, or I didn't write today, I didn't research today, I didn't call that lady today like I said I would, but you know what, I'm gonna go to bed tonight, and in the morning I'm gonna get up in the morning, I'm gonna be on it. Or depending on how important it is to you, you go, you know what, I'm gonna push through it, I'm gonna make the call tonight, that way you know what I'm saying, it's about how important it is to you. Then you'll know what that healthy balance is.
Exactly. I had to learn how to budget everything, especially my time, because when you're at the house, especially when quarantine happened, typically when you're out, you can kind of budget it pretty well, because if you're maybe a full-time worker with a small business and you're working your business outside of your work hours, you kind of know what that is. But when you transition to quarantine and the kids weren't at school and then hubby's not at school, a lot of that can seem like a lot for new business owners. And I kept telling my friend, you just have to balance your time. And just like you have a budget for your money, have a budget for your time. And if it's just a 12-hour period that you're going to block out, what are you doing? Like you said, I put time that I research. I put time that I'm supposed to be eating. I put time that I'm supposed to be specifically doing my skincare, just little small things, because as you start to build more business and you start to build that traction, a lot of things are going to slip your mind if you don't focus, you know, and make sure you're writing them down and just being meticulous about at least having them somewhere to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So as we wind down, we have about 10 minutes left. Chundria, what is next for you? You have 105 cities, and this is only the beginning. So what's new?
What's new for me? Well, I wrote a television series called The Rising Sun last year, and it's a TV series based on myself as a talk show host. It's like myself playing a character, and so it kind of gives like a behind the scenes, like kind of like if Being Mary Jane had her own show. In a sense, it's kind of like that. So I have guests on there. It's like, but it's scripted, so scripted guests. A little bit of drama, you know, but I wrote this TV series called The Rising Sun all of last year. I put my like heart in it, rewrites until I was just finally happy with it. And then I did a big casting in January. And then I was trying to, because I'm doing it all, so I'm trying to get these locations together. And then I finally narrowed the cast down, the location down, and the release forms. And I finally get it all together. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be filming this thing March, April, May 2020, where you know what's going on March, April, May 2020. So production is down for that, but I'm patient, you know, and then it'll happen, you know, when it's supposed to happen, and so while the world kind of recovers from a lot of things right now. So I'm patient, but yeah, that's what's next for me is, you know, taking the right moment at the right time to strike. That could be this summer, that could be this fall. I don't know, but, you know, hopefully by the end of 2020, I look forward to not only filming The Rising Sun, but, you know, entering into some film festivals, having a screening for it, and just making a lot of noise about that project. So it's just a kind of a way to let the world know who Chundria Brownlow, the TV talk show host, is.
That is so awesome, because I actually loved Being Mary Jane, and I told my husband, I was like, we started watching it. He was like, oh, is this stuff that goes? I was like, yes, it gets juicy in media, honey. It gets juicy. You have to catch up, because it is, even though there is room for everybody, you have to be competitive. You have to work hard to get yourself seen. And, you know, there are senior production companies, but I'm so excited. That sounds awesome. Hopefully, since we've had this gap, there may be season 2 that'll just pop up right after. That would be great.
Right.
We can't sing.
I mean, it's dope. Funny you say that, because when in the midst of the rewrites, because, you know, you're always like in the script, and then you're trying to line up the characters then I cast it. I didn't want to cast again, because again, I didn't want to delay the project. So, and you know, I'm always, you know, mindful of other people's time too, because it wasn't just me in this. You know, I think I was ready to cast about 25 people to be a part of this production. So, I mean, it's a true testament to just getting it done by any means necessary. So, I mean, I did strip in the process, because I wanted to get it done. I did strip some storylines, some scenes, some things like that. So, I mean, I just feel like if I really, but I'm big on writing all my ideas down. Any idea I have stuff that I entered in this script that I had ideas for 3 or 4 years ago. I'm big in notes and Google Drive and things like that. So I always write down the good ideas, and they'll get done. They'll get done.
So cool. That is so cool. So when you started, I mean, just you visualized being on TV, but man, you were employing African American. You're employing actors and actresses. You know, it went from just being you being the face of it, or in the back, to being the face of it, to now having employees and having people who you've hired. What does that feel like?
It aligns with the vision. I think it aligns with my original vision. You know, if I go back to college days when I really was dedicated to, you know, developing original TV and film content, you know, and I feel like I've just kind of, you know, spent my years, you know, getting my bearings. But maybe about the top of the year, I launched Chundria Brownlow Entertainment. So it is a media production company solely to develop and create original TV and film content. And so The Rising Sun would have been it will be the first project under that production company. And I have so many other ideas. I mean, you know, I want to write a Christmas movie. There's so much I want to do, but you know, I'm very project oriented. So it's like, let me work on this project and then, you know, move forward. But yeah, I'm excited about the production company. I'm excited about my first project, and I hope that, you know, once quarantine is, you know, once it's safe to even, I mean, there's not a huge cast that I have, you know, where it'd be too many people. I mean, you know, maybe a few people per scene, but, you know, I'll work it out so that, you know, we're safe and it's safe to come out and all of that. But yeah, it feels good to, it felt, I think casting probably really hit me the hardest, because I remember some people I reached out to, some people are friends of mine. Some of those people that I cast were guests on the show, on the Chundria show in the past. Some people I met when they came to my casting. I remember reaching out to this guy that I know from the Urban League, and I was like, hey, would you like to be a part of a TV series I wrote? And he was like, you know what? My New Year's resolution was to get back into acting. So, you know, it's just like, that's bigger than me, right? Yo, like, that is next level for me, you know. Or I had people that were at the audition before I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that. We all want opportunities, you know. And I don't know. It just gives me chills a little bit sometimes to think like something that I create, you know. I mean, I believe in my project 1,000,000%, you know what I'm saying? But like, to have people of all races and nationalities like waiting, reading my words, reading my script, that was new for me. That was a very chilling experience. So like, you know, and at the end, I cast everybody. Gotta cast you for coming, you know, like. But they were like auditioning. So at the end, I was like, I want to thank everybody I made them raw reading for. I was like, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. And I was like, have 2 announcements. One, I plan to start filming soon. I will email you info. And I was like, B, you're all cast. And then the room just like went up. Like,
wow.
So special. So it's special. It really is special to know, like, you know, I'm thinking I'm creating a TV series as a way to promote my talk show across the globe. Like, that was my initial thought was, you know, I love to binge a good show now, you know.
Yes.
Not everybody watch talk shows, but everybody has a show they love and they'll binge on, and they'll sit on a Saturday and just watch a whole season of something. I'm guilty of watching a crazy amount of stuff, you know, like just trying it. Let me see what this is about, you know. Before you know it, you're like all in it. Like, when is next season coming out, you know? So I'm like, if I could create something that makes somebody want to crash on the couch and sit and watch, you know, 8 seasons of, and you get to know who the Chundria show is in the process, then sign me up. So to go from that initial idea to creating 7, I've written 7 episodes, and I have 25 people that are like waiting for me to tell them when production.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yes.
And I'm
yes.
grateful. And I'm grateful. I'm humbled and I'm grateful. And it is another road sign. Like I said, when you're driving on the freeway, you have those signs that say like Houston, Texas, 300 miles, 200 miles, 150 miles. And you know, like, you're getting closer and closer to where you want to go. So I like little reminders, or little benchmarks that tell me like you're headed in the right direction, you know.
That is awesome. Well, Chundria, I am so proud of you. I'm so grateful for you. You are paving the way for me and other young ladies. I'm just really, really appreciative that you took the time to just talk with us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. We can't wait till the show starts. Quarantine, get over with so we can binge watch this show.
Thank you.
Okay.
Maxcie, where are you in the world?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Fine, I'm over here using the Houston, Texas.
Yes, as a reference. I was like, I'm not even going to say nothing because I know we're in alignment. So we are so excited. And what's awesome, as soon as it's over, please sign us up. We definitely want to be there for the screening. We're all good for a good binge watch.
I'll have y'all in this show. Y'all will be playing something on Zoom.
We'll be in there. We'll be there. I love LA. I love LA. And what was funny is I told him, I said, I'm going to contact somebody in LA. We have 30 seconds around. I was like, I'm going to hit up somebody in LA because we're going to have business out there. And then I had met you and everything happened. So it was super dope. We only have 15 seconds left, but Chundria, thank you so much. You guys follow her at Chundria TV. You can follow me at Maxcie Taylor. Stay tuned. There's so much going to be happening. So we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.